It was one of those days when life seemed to weigh a little heavier on David's shoulders. He was a single father, raising his 5-year-old daughter, Lily, all on his own after his wife had passed away 3 years earlier. Every morning he juggled preparing breakfast, getting Lily dressed for kindergarten, and rushing to his job as a mechanic. He was exhausted, but for Lily's sake, he never let it show. She was his world, his reason for pushing forward. Even when the nights grew lonely and the silence of their small house reminded him of what was missing, that Saturday afternoon, David was driving Lily home from the park, where she had spent hours running, laughing, and playing, her golden hair tangled from the breeze. Just as they turned onto the quieter stretch of road near the edge of town, he spotted a car pulled over on the shoulder. The hood was up, and steam curled into the air. Next to it stood a young woman, pacing anxiously, her phone pressed to her ear. Even from a distance, David could see the worry etched across her face. "Daddy, look," Lily said softly from the back seat. "Her car is broken," David sighed. He could have kept driving. He was tired and Lily was ready for dinner. But something tugged at him, something stronger than inconvenience. He slowed down and pulled over in front of the stranded car. The woman put down her phone and looked up, surprised but relieved as David stepped out. "Car trouble?" he asked, his voice calm and steady. She nodded, brushing a strand of hair from her face. "Yeah, it just started smoking, and I have no idea what's wrong. The roadside assistant said it'd be at least 2 hours, and I really can't wait that long." Her voice cracked with frustration. David offered her a small, reassuring smile. "You're in luck. I happen to be a mechanic." He grabbed his tools from the trunk and leaned over the engine. Lily pressed her face against the car window, watching her dad with wide eyes. She'd always admired how he could fix anything. As David worked, the woman introduced herself as Emily. She had just moved to town a week ago, trying to start fresh after a rough chapter in her life. She didn't go into details, but there was a sadness in her eyes that David recognized all too well. Loss, pain, or maybe betrayal was the kind of weight you carried silently. While David tinkered under the hood, Lily, with her fearless innocence, climbed out of the car and walked over. She tugged gently on Emily's hand. "It's okay," she said, her little voice filled with certainty. "My daddy's the best at fixing things." Emily knelt down, smiling through her worry. "Is that so?" she asked. "Mimham," Lily nodded. "He fixes everything. Fixed my bike, my doll, and even the toaster." Then she leaned closer and whispered, as if sharing a secret, "Sometimes he looks sad when he thinks I'm not watching. But don't tell him I said that." Emily's heart ached at the honesty in Lily's words. She glanced at David, still working quietly, his jaw set with determination. It was the kind of strength that came from surviving heartbreak. After a few more minutes, David slammed the hood shut. "There, a busted radiator hose. Patched it up for now, but you'll need to replace it soon. At least you can drive home safely tonight." Emily's relief was visible. "Thank you. I don't know what I would have done without you." David waved it off. "No need to thank me. Just glad I was here." But just as he turned to head back to his car, Lily's voice cut through the irreverent, unfiltered, and full of longing. She looked up at Emily with her big brown eyes and asked, "Can she be my mommy?" The world seemed to freeze. David's heart lurched in his chest, caught between shock and a pang of sorrow. He hadn't heard Lily say something like that in years. Not since she was little enough to cry herself to sleep asking for her mother. He opened his mouth, searching for words, but nothing came. Emily knelt down again, her eyes soft, glistening with unshed tears. "Oh, sweetheart," she whispered, pulling Lily into a gentle hug. "I don't know if I can be your mommy, but I can be your friend." David cleared his throat, finally finding his voice. "Lily, honey, that's not really how it works." His voice trailed off, but Emily met his gaze, and in that moment, something unspoken passed between them. A connection, fragile, yet undeniable. From that day forward, Emily and David began to cross paths more often. It started innocently, Emily dropping by the repair shop where David worked to ask about her car, or David offering to help her move a few heavy boxes into her new apartment. Lily was always thrilled to see her, her laughter brighter, her smile wider when Emily was around. Weeks turned into months, and Emily slowly became part of their lives. She would join them for simple dinners, or read bedtime stories to Lily when David was too tired. She never tried to replace Lily's mother, but in her kindness and warmth, she filled a void they both had quietly carried for years. But not everything was easy. David wrestled with guilt. Was he betraying his late wife by letting someone new into their lives? Was he rushing into something just because Lily longed for a mother? He often lay awake at night, staring at the ceiling, questioning his own heart. Emily, too, had her fears. She had been hurt before, left by someone who promised forever, but walked away when life got hard. She worried she wasn't tea enough, that she would fail David and Lily the way others had failed her. One evening, as the three of them sat on the porch watching the sunset, Allie leaned her head against Emily's shoulder and whispered, "I wish this could be forever." David's chest tightened. He glanced at Emily, and this time, instead of looking away, he held her gaze. "Maybe it can be," he said softly. Tears welled in Emily's eyes, but she smiled. A real smile, the kind that carried hope. Months later, when David knelt down on one knee in the same park where their paths had first crossed, Lily squealed with joy. "Does this mean she's really going to be my mommy?" she asked, bouncing with excitement. David laughed through tears. "Yes, sweetheart." "If she says yes." Emily's answer was a tearful, heartfelt yes. Their story wasn't perfect. No love story ever was, but it was real. It was about broken people finding healing in each other, about a little girl's innocent hope that brought two lonely hearts together. And in the end, it was about family, not the one life had taken from them, but the one they had built with love, patience, and second chances.